the coaching staff and all the guys have a lot of trust in me to come out in the back half of games and close things. It's pretty special to be a part of, for sure.
Welcome to episode 329 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. Another week, another record broken, another record on the brink, and we'll have much more on those in just a second. But first, the news headlines. We'll start in Major League Baseball, where Edmonton's Eric Sabrowski has been moved to the 60-day IL. He's been out since spring training with left elbow inflammation. It means we likely won't see him back in the Cleveland Guardians lineup until later on in May. Calgary's Michael Soroka seems close to getting back into the Washington Nationals lineup. He made a second rehab start in AA Harrisburg on Sunday, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits and a walk while striking out 4 in 4+ innings as the Senators fell 5-4 in extras to the Erie Seawolves. It's not yet known whether Soroka will require one more rehab start or if the Nationals are keen to bring him back up. And former Medicine Hat Mavericks hurler Jacob Webb keeps doing what he does out of the bullpen for the Texas Rangers. He's up to 13 appearances on the season so far, going 2-1 with a 4.11 ERA. In the minors, we'll start with Dogs Academy and Okotoks Dogs alum Matt Lloyd. He had himself a Canadian Baseball Network Minor League Player of the Week caliber week, going 8 for 17 with a double, 4 runs, and 6 RBI for the AAA Memphis Redbirds. For an encore, he did this on Wednesday night.
The pitch. Fly ball deep to left center. That baby's gone. Walk-off grand slam. Matt Lloyd's first home run of the year. The second walk-off win of the season. It's Matt Lloyd time.
Lloyd's now hitting .293 with that home run and 19 RBI in 18 games. Fellow Dog Tristan Peters is starting to heat up. He hit his first homer of the season on April 20th and is now up to .264 with 8 RBI and 4 stolen bases. Oh, and he can still do this.
All year. And there's another ball hit high with some depth. Left center field on the chase is Peters. He's at the wall. Jumps up. Oh, did he? Did he? Did he? Oh! Baby! Bringing it back! The glove over the wall, almost touching the platform, and a backhand highway robbery by Tristan Peters. A better catch you won't see at the D-ball.
Well, he brings this one back and saves a couple of runs in the process. That's a heck of a play by Tristan Peters.
Absolute highway robbery indeed from the AAA Durham Bulls outfielder. And one more minor league highlight from the past week comes courtesy of Wetaskiwin's Matt Kootenay. The St. FX alum was promoted to the High A Tri-City Dust Devils in mid-April, and on April 24th, he did this.
The 2-0 pitch to Kootenay. That is hammered to deep right center. Ortiz back, looks up. This one is way gone. Home run for Matt Kootenay. Over the netting, just to the left of the netting, and now a gaggle of little ones trying to gather that baseball as Kootenay rounds the bases with his first home run of 2025, and there was little doubt about that one.
Kootenay's now hitting .222 on the season with that dinger and 11 RBI in 19 games. To the college ranks now, and we'll start in the CCBC. Prairie Baseball Academy came away with a 4-game split with the defending champions from UFV. The University of Calgary Dinos went 1-3 against the Victoria Golden Tide, while the Edmonton Collegiate Hawks split their 4-game set with VIU. UFV remains at the top of the standings at 15-5. PBA's in second at 11-8, and TRU is 13-10. The Dinos and Hawks are at the bottom right now at 7-13. This weekend, PBA heads to Edmonton while the Dinos are home to Okanagan College. It's a short week as well with games on Monday and Tuesday. Edmonton will host OC while Calgary and PBA have a home-and-home series. We'll hear from UFV's Kam Sparrowhawk in just a few minutes. And don't forget, the CCBC World Series is set for May-long weekend at Spitz Stadium in Lethbridge. Heading stateside now in our usual look at the top 5 performances from the past week. And we have to start with last week's guest, Aiden Macris, who was the Canadian Baseball Network's College Player of the Week and also the North Star Athletic Association's Player of the Week after hitting .375 with 4 dingers, 7 RBI, and 7 runs scored. He's now hitting .322 on the season with 15 homers, 35 RBI, and 37 runs scored in 37 games. Fellow Dog Jacob Wroblewski hit his first 2 home runs of the season at Gonzaga over the weekend. He's now hitting .308 on the season with 10 RBI in 14 games. AHP alum Will Gardner continues to light it up at Mount Mary. He's hitting .349 with 10 homers and 42 RBI on the campaign. Vauxhall Academy product Caleb Haney has quietly put together another solid season at the University of Mary despite missing some time due to injury. He's hitting .306 with 3 homers and 14 RBI in 34 games. And it's been a while since we've chatted about Saskatoon's Corey Waters. The McCook Community College utility man put together another outstanding two-way performance over the weekend. On the mound, he allowed 4 runs on 3 hits and 6 walks while striking out 4 over 6 innings in a 23-6 romp over Lamar. At the plate, he went 3 for 4 with a homer and 6 RBI. This season, he's 3-3 with a 5.65 ERA in 8 appearances, while hitting .421 with, get this, 17 home runs and 79 RBI in 51 games. We'll also hear from a couple of record chasers in just a few minutes with Jaden Babiuk and Reece Helland. It is May, which means the Western Canadian Baseball League season is fast approaching. Opening day is May 28th when Medicine Hat hosts Okotoks before a full slate of games the following night. Teams are continuing to roll out roster announcements, and we are still powering through our season previews. Keep it locked on our websites as we've done Okotoks, Moose Jaw, and Sylvan Lake so far. Saskatoon will drop the same day this episode comes out, and we have Lethbridge on deck as well soon. A cool announcement coming out of the league as well this week as the Regina Red Sox will be hosting a game to honor the Indian Head Rockets. That game will be held June 11th against the Swift Current 57s with former players Nat Bates and Willie Reed expected in attendance. The Red Sox will be wearing limited edition hats, and the new Indian Head Rockets baseball cards, which we've talked about before on the show, will also be made available. Baseball Alberta Elite League action got underway over the weekend with a full slate of games. The Red Deer Rangers lead the pack after the weekend with a 4-0 record, followed by the Weber Wildcats at 3-0 and the Calgary Cubs at 2-0. Head to baseballalberta.com for all the details, including the BAEL's Players of the Week. And Baseball Alberta also announcing they are continuing their Photos of the Week feature on social media. They're also hoping to add to that with Videos of the Week. All right. That's a lot of news and a lot of my voice, so time to turn it over to our guests. And we'll start with St. Albert's Jaden Babiuk, who we first got to know last season after an outstanding junior campaign at Valley City State University. He's at it again this season, hitting .324 with a homer and 24 RBI while playing outstanding defense at a variety of positions. The Medicine Hat Mavericks utility man is also just a handful of hits away from setting the school record for most career hits, something he would like to do while the Vikings aim to win a national championship in the next couple of weeks. Jaden, welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me again, Joe.
You now sit second in all-time hits at Valley City State University with 219 heading into playoffs. How cool is it to know your name is going into the record books at the school, regardless of how the season ends?
It's a great feeling. I mean, coming to this school 4 years ago, if you would have told me this is where I'd be, kind of where I stand in the school, it's obviously an honor. I have the pleasure of knowing, who's number one with 225 hits, Brady Anderson. He's a great guy. We play pickup hockey together, and he's a great guy. So I'll sit second to him. That's fine by me. But you never know, a little run at the end, we could get there.
Absolutely. Now, was the hits record something that's been on your mind for a while, or when did you first realize that you might actually have a shot at it?
I didn't really think about it until I think last year. Mark Potts, he was the SID at our school. He got a promotion actually this year. He put together a comprehensive record book, and it was crazy to look at just how much information he went back and got, and kind of realized where I stood. I think I was at 160 or so hits, and I'm like, wow, this is a real possibility. So it wasn't really till last year, late in the season, that I was like, oh, this could be something I reach for, and it's been kind of a chase now. I try not to think about it too much. Obviously, it takes a back seat to winning games, but it's been nice to see the progress over the course of the season. It
probably doesn't help to keep it out of your mind when you've got social media posts and that from the school saying, "Oh, the countdown's on," right? You go from 20 to 10 to now 6, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, they've been really great about it. I didn't think that there would be that much attention in it, but there certainly has been, and I really appreciate it from the school.
Have you been feeling any pressure around it at all, especially as that number got into the single digits?
I don't know if it's pressure as much as, when's the next hit's going to come, but for me, it's, just kind of about, just sticking to the game, right? It's just another day, even if we're 30, 40, or even, like I think it's 7 or 8 you mentioned before the show, it's the same swing, same approach. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen naturally. It's not something that can be forced.
Mm-hmm. You've been a model of consistency since showing up. I think you're hitting like 328 lifetime at that school. So that's more than a hit a game. How proud are you of that accomplishment?
Yeah, I'm really proud of it. Again, like I said, coming into college as a freshman, you never know how it's going to go. You have all these aspirations and all these goals and hopes, and to be where I am right now, like you said, 328 lifetime. If you would have told younger me that, I would have been like, that doesn't sound like me. But I'm really proud of it, and obviously, one more go around this weekend at the playoffs. Hopefully we can make something out of it. And it's been a really, really nice career here at BCSU.
Mm-hmm. When you look back on it with 2020 hindsight, what's been key to your success at the plate over the last few years here?
I think, just staying relaxed, staying loose, enjoying it. I'm not the hitter I want to be when I'm pressing or when I'm trying to force things. And we have a really great hitting coach here that's, really good on the mental side of things. Actually, he's coming up to be the Medicine Hat Mavericks head coach this summer. And, he's really big on the mental side and, just sticking to what works for you, your approach. And, you'd be surprised at some of the things you can figure out with your swing. Just, it's not really anything mechanical. It's more so in your head. So he's been really instrumental in that. And, just enjoying it. I think, when you're having fun, enjoying playing baseball, you're playing well. And, I've enjoyed all 4 years here, and I think that's a big thing, that I would attribute to my success too.
Take us into your mind for a second, and as you're stepping up to the plate, what's your approach going in? Are you a guy who studies pitchers? Is it a feel kind of thing? What is it that gets you up to the plate?
I think first and foremost, I'm thinking go opposite field. If I'm thinking pull the ball, bad things happen. I don't. I'm not myself when I'm thinking to pull the ball, but I just like to look for some outer half. I like to go the other way, and a lot of my teammates could probably say a lot of the hits I get aren't the hardest hit balls, but they find holes, and that's the big thing. I just want to be a scrappy hitter and just be a tough out. But yeah, really look in opposite field because that's when my swing's at my best.
Mm-hmm. Last time we chatted, we kind of joked about you playing all 9 positions in a game. Give us the update. Is that something you've been able to do yet?
Kind of. So it was our midweek against Dakota Wesleyan. It was our last midweek of the year, and we started the rotation in like the 5th inning, and it was a 7-0 game. I got to play everything but hop on the mound. I recorded the final out. It was a put out at first base, so that was something new. But yeah, I played 8 positions. I don't think the scorekeepers got all 8, but it's there. I think I got some pictures at each one for proof.
That's fantastic. I'll note that you have played a few positions throughout the year as well. I mean, you started as a catcher, and then as I go through, you played it short like you normally do. You played the outfield for a bit, I saw, and then you settled in at second base for the last few games here. How have you managed to stay on top of playing all of the different positions?
I don't know. I think it's just, I think catching gives you really good base. I feel really athletic, just by being a catcher, that's a position that requires a lot. And then obviously moving to short last year, one of the tougher positions on the infield, I would say personally. And then, this year, we had a lot of infield help that came in the fall. A lot of really good gloves, and we've had battles all year at different positions. But, it started off at third base, actually, and then kind of flip-flop between third and second, and then, to the outfield, which was something that was very new to me. I hadn't ever played, really, the outfield, since before high school even. But that was short-lived. I wasn't the best option out there. We can just keep it at that. And then, right back to second base where, that seems to have been the home. But, I think just, a lot of the skills are just being athletic and, obviously playing second now, playing shortstop last year helped that. And, we have two really good shortstops right now. They got great gloves. So, they can duke it out over there. I'm just happy to be in the lineup.
When you look at it, having experienced it, what's the hardest position you've had to play this season?
It's going to sound really, really weird, but I had a really tough time playing the outfield. Getting reads off the bat is just so different when you haven't played there for a while. And, that's why it was so short-lived. There was one read in particular that I'm glad the away or the home team didn't have the stream on, because that would have been on the Sports Center not top 10. But no, I think the outfield. I think I think all positions have their difficulty to them. But when there's a ball hit high in the air, you outfielders, you guys do a good job.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the team for a second here. You're heading into NSAA championships here. They all start on Thursday. A few familiar faces that you're up against: Logan Grant, Aiden Macris, Bellevue University. You've seen what they have to offer earlier on in the spring. So how do you get past them and then, of course, keep moving forward as you go for a championship?
I think there's, you don't ever want to be coming in as the last seed, I guess. And, there's a lot of belief in this group. We had two really good games against Bellevue. Obviously, sometimes they just find a way to beat you, and, they did that for two games. But in two of those games in the series, we were really in it, especially the first one. It was a, go ahead home run in the top of the seventh that put us down. We were down by one in the bottom of the ninth, had a runner on second, couldn't tie it up. But, we've had some good battles against Bellevue, and I think just the belief and, we've seen these guys, we know what they're about. We're going to have to play our best baseball. Absolutely. There's going to be no easy games for us in that tournament. But we're excited. I think it's, again, you talk about the guys over there, they got some All-Americans. They got some good, good homegrown Canadian talent too. But, they're a really strong squad, but, the belief's high, and we just got to take care of what our business and play the way we know how to play, and, anything can happen.
How cool is it playing in that division? You mentioned the homegrown talent, but there's a lot of guys at a bunch of different schools. You've got a bunch of Canadians at VCSU, Takeo and Camp Hero and yourself and a few others there, and Bellevue. I mean, how cool is it to be able to go into each barn and be able to be like, hey, I know that guy. Hey, I know that guy. And talk about whether it's, growing up here or even playing WCBL ball.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to find, a college baseball team without Canadians. And I think being, a conference that's, based more in the northern states, the Midwest, you find a lot more of those Canadians. It's awesome. I mean, like you said, you recognize guys that you play in the WCBL. You played with guys growing up, playing with guys. You meet new guys too. That's the great thing. There's guys that, you're like, hey, I saw in the scouting report, you're an Edmonton guy or whatever. It's like, that's crazy. We grew up 20 minutes from each other. But yeah, it's really cool to see that. And, it's nice to see Canadians get exposure in U.S. college baseball.
100%. As a senior, what would it mean to you to be able to take home a championship or two when all is said and done here in the next few weeks?
Oh my gosh. It would mean the world. I'd trade anything. I promise you, I'd trade all 200 and I don't know the exact number, Joe. I'm sorry, 217. I would trade all 217 hits, anything to win a championship with these guys. I love my teammates. We've been on a great ride together. I look at some of the guys I've been here with for 4 years, and the fact it's coming to an end, it's like you can't even fathom. You don't think these things are ever going to end, and then you're at the end and they do. But it would mean the world, especially where we're at. We're the underdog. We're the 8th seed. We'll tell you we definitely deserved our seeding because we didn't play our best ball, but we know what we're capable of. It would mean the world.
Is there a bit of an advantage almost to being an underdog? I'm a big fan of being that because there's no pressure involved. But do you get the sense that the feeling in the room is, hey, let's go be giant killers?
Yeah, I think so. And I think we don't feel like underdogs because we feel like, we've played really close games. We can't tilt the scales in our favor, sometimes. And, those 1-run, 2-run games are going to fall to us eventually. And, hopefully we saved them up for the tournament. But, like you said, we feel like there's no pressure. Everyone's expecting Bellevue to take care of us with no problem. And, and as they should, with our record. But, we're going to go and try and prove them wrong. And, beating Bellevue, I was telling the guys, this is probably the best situation we're in. You knock off the best team in the conference and, your path gets that much easier just because you had to go up against them in round one.
Absolutely. Well, Jaden, really appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations on entering the record books. Continued success at VCSU and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you again, Joe, for having me. And, when Alberta Dugout Stories asks you to be on the podcast, you should never be saying no. So thank you again, Joe. Thanks for everything you do for baseball in Alberta.
Next up is Moose Jaw's Reece Helland. The Miller Express alum has been a mainstay out of the bullpen for Mid-America Nazarene University over the last few years. In fact, he's a graduate student now, just got married, and is doing some coaching with the team as well. Over the past week, he notched his 6th save of the season and 16th of his career to set the Pioneers' all-time record. We chatted about setting that mark earlier this week, as well as we got into his baseball journey.
Reece, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Oh, yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Reece Helland, all-time saves leader at Mid-America Nazarene. How does that sound?
It sounds pretty cool. I mean, it's fun because the guy who held it before me was my catch partner my first year here, and then he was my coach for 2 years. So, kind of taking it from him, it's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's fun having it, especially with my teammates. I mean, man, I wouldn't be able to do it without them every day. I mean, they put up a lot of runs for us to help me get into situations where I can come out and compete like that. Just knowing that, the coaching staff and all the guys have a lot of trust in me to come out in the back half of games and close things. It's pretty special to be a part of, for sure.
Did you know at the start of the season that this record was a possibility?
I took a look at it, and I knew I was close. I couldn't really remember how many I was away, and when I broke it, it was kind of that, oh, I did it, So I knew I was close, but I didn't know how close I was.
Mm-hmm. So as the season's going on, you've got a couple under your belt. Did you start feeling any kind of pressure or anything sort of mounting as the season progressed, knowing that, you're not only getting close to tying a record, but you're also having to finish out some games along the way as well?
Yeah, no, I mean, there was a little stretch there where I had a little slow patch going, tough few games, but we were playing some really good teams and some pretty windy days where some fly balls probably shouldn't have left the yard on a normal day, but I think once I got over that hump and started getting back into what I normally do, I was getting pretty excited. And then obviously, I didn't realize how close I was to the save until that day happened where they announced it after the game. So,
what was the reaction like in the clubhouse or even on the field after you finished out that 16th save?
It was pretty cool. All the guys came up to me and gave me a hug and congratulated me, and even our assistant coach, Hoff, he came up to me and he got pretty emotional just knowing how much I battled this year and just worked hard over the course of my career. So, it was a pretty special moment for sure.
Looking back on it, what's it mean to you, not just to hold the record, but to be able to be that guy, that high leverage guy for the last few years here at MNU?
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, especially just, I was a part of the first ever 2 teams in MNU history to go to the World Series, and I got the first ever save in MNU history at the World Series. So, it's pretty special. I mean, just this program in general, it's pretty cool. We're a tight family, and, guys want to battle for each other, and it means a lot for me, especially to know that I get to be, the guy that guys trust to go out in the 9th and the 7th inning to go shut down a ball game. So, yeah, it definitely means a lot to me.
What's been key to your success as the main guy, as the closer at MNU?
I would say, I work pretty hard every day. When it comes to, not only I'm an older guy, so, I try to lead by example, but just knowing that, I push myself pretty hard to be successful, and that's kind of something that I strive on. So just going out there every day, being as confident as I can, I think that's the one thing. I feel pretty confident when I'm on the mound. There's never a moment where, the pressure gets to me or anything like that. I I think that just comes with experience from junior college level and now from here. So, I just think that over my career, it's turned into more of me having fun on the mound than me feeling like there's pressure in the back half of the game. So it's just fun to be a part of.
Take us into your mindset for a minute, maybe the few minutes leading up to the innings counting down and you're getting ready to potentially go in. Do you have any routines, any things that you got to do to make sure you're in that right mindset to shut the door?
Yeah, so I'm actually a pretty superstitious guy. I do a lot of the same things every day. So for me, I'm usually in the bullpen by the third inning, stretching to prepare for a ninth inning close or a seventh inning close. So I do a lot of the same things, the same stretches in the same order quite a bit. And then usually once it gets down to, a situation where I know I'm probably going to get the call to the bullpen, that's kind of where I shut everything out. I hate being the guy sometimes, but I don't like to talk to my teammates in the bullpen when I start throwing. I settle into that groove of, being a dominant presence kind of deal. So, and then, of course, I think the one other superstition, I always thank my bullpen catcher before I go out there. I give him a quick thanks, Bri, and then I run out on the field just to let him know that I appreciate him warming me up. So
that's very cool. Do you listen to music to tune things out, or how do you manage to get into that mindset where there's virtually nothing around you?
Honestly, no. I think it just, like I said before, just that experience of getting into those high-pressure situation games, I honestly don't hear anything. Like, even when my song comes on at home games, my song comes on, I have, what do I have? Sorry. I have the Top Gun song from Top Gun as my walkout song. Danger Zone, that's what it's called. I got Danger Zone as my walkout. So, that I don't even hear that when it's going on. Honestly, I'm pretty good at tuning everything out. And even there's been a few times where my head coach Thompson, he'll give me the ball and tell me a situation of like, hey, you got runners on first and second. Bunt comes your way, make a play. That goes right over my head sometimes because I'm just like, give me the ball, I'm ready to go. I don't even hear him. So, I feel like I'm at the age now where it just comes natural now, where everything just kind of tunes out in my head and I just get after it.
Has Danger Zone always been your tune of choice, or do you like to mix it up?
It's been my tune of choice, I think, the last 3 years now. It actually started when I was playing for the Millers 3 years ago. I had a different song, but they played Danger Zone in the middle of I think it was the Swift Current Series in the second round of playoffs. That song came on, and I loved it, and I told our media guy that's got to be my walkout song. So for the rest of the playoffs, even against Okotoks in the finals there, that was my song, and I just kind of rode with it ever since.
I know that you're trying to get into your routines and that kind of stuff, but when you do get that tune rocking, is there that moment where you kind of soak it in a little bit and be like, man, how cool would this be if there were lights and TV cameras and the whole nine, like an MLB ball game?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've even had those moments. When we went to the World Series and I got to pitch against Cumberland's University, they were the number one offense in the country. Just going out on the field for that moment, it was pretty special. The field at Lewiston gets pretty packed. That city does an unbelievable job of hosting that World Series tournament. So it was a pretty special moment. That was probably that big league moment where you step on the mound, you're like, wow, this is a pretty special thing. I don't think I've felt anything like that since that time. So I'm kind of hoping that we'll get back there this year and hopefully have that moment again for sure.
100%. And speaking of, the team's had a pretty good regular season so far, heading into playoffs here in the next few days here. How do you guys keep things rolling heading into that national championship run?
Coach Thompson really strives on just guys doing what they do. We're not trying to do too much. We've proven that we can win ball games by not having too much pressure on ourselves. If our offense is working and our pitching staff's going, I feel like we're pretty unstoppable, especially the offense that we have. We got a lot of guys, 1 through 9, that can hit for power, and it's a dangerous lineup to face. And I'd be scared as a pitcher on the opposite side trying to throw to those guys. I do it all fall, preparing for a season, and it sucks some days. So I couldn't imagine when games matter, having to pitch to those guys. It's a lot of fun watching them, and then for the pitching staff, our 1 through 4 starters, they roll out there and they deal, and then it's a lot of fun when the guys have confidence in the back half of our bullpen with a few of us back there that can handle the job and get it done. And so it's just a special team to be a part of. Everybody does their job, and when they do it right, it's a guarantee that we're going to win a ball game.
Very cool. Let's get in your baseball past here a little bit, Reece. You're originally from Moose Jaw. How'd you get into the game in the first place?
My dad played baseball for the Millers back when it wasn't like a full-time college thing. You could be whatever age playing in that league. And so he kind of was the one that got me going with it. I used to be at the park with him all the time. He was playing men's fastball, and even my grandfather ran that field. So, I was there 24/7. Even when he wasn't playing, I was there with my grandpa, hanging out, hitting balls, and just going out to the field. Baseball was kind of my thing, and even hockey too. I mean, can't be Canadian without playing hockey. So, but those were two of my biggest passions throughout life. And then obviously my junior year hit, and I had to make that decision that baseball was the thing that I wanted to do, and I'm glad I sure did it.
Absolutely. When you look back on it, do you have any favorite memories or moments on the field where you just had to take that step back and go, man, I can't believe I get to do this?
Yeah, I would definitely say my senior year of AAA baseball. Obviously, we didn't have AAA baseball my senior year in high school, so I had to go play in Regina, and I got to play for the Regina Wolfpack. And I would say, we finished out the year in first place, and just that last game of knowing that we pretty much dominated that league my senior year, it was a pretty cool moment, especially with those guys. I mean, there were guys that I had no clue who they were. I was in a different city, and they accepted me and allowed me to join their team, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of it. I think that was a pretty special moment for me in my life, was making that transition into Regina. I was driving 45 minutes every day playing with those guys, and looking back on it, that really helped improve my game, because obviously we only had AA and Musha, and I just felt like I wanted to play at a higher level, and I'm very grateful for all those guys that allowed me to come join their team and be a part of it.
You mentioned as well that your pops got to play with the Miller Express. You played with the Miller Express. That's the hometown team. What did that mean to you, looking back on and getting a chance to suit up in the black and yellow?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I did it the first time I did it. I was a junior in high school as an AP, and just from that moment, it just got better every time. Coach Hunt, my first year, he did a really good job of he taught me the ropes, what it's like to be a college player. It's not just a lifestyle that anybody can handle. So he definitely treated it that way, and I'm grateful for for him helping me kind of develop that mindset. And then just from there on out, I mean, it's really fun to be that hometown guy playing for the team. It's pretty special. I feel like there was a few games where I probably got a little louder of a roar when I went out on the field, and it's just so cool to be home playing in front of the hometown, especially my family and stuff too. But just the amount of support that I had from people that I had no clue who they were, and they knew who I was because I was a hometown kid. So just playing in Musha every year was a lot of fun. It's kind of sucked the last couple of years not being able to go back home, but I mean, I had to stay down here and get after things here. But I loved every second of being a part of the Millers. It was a great experience. The amount of friends that I made from it. I mean, guys that I played with for 1 year are now some of my best friends for life. So definitely a great experience.
On the flip side of that, we all know baseball is a game of failures. So what's that one big hurdle or obstacle that you've had to overcome, and how proud are you of yourself of being able to get over that?
I would probably say my biggest obstacle was my second year here. I found out that I had some some UCL stuff, and I thought I was done for the year, but I ended up going to see the Kansas City Royals doctor, and he got me on the right track to where I didn't have needed Tommy John. So I did a pretty extensive 2-month rehab phase where it wasn't a lot of baseball. It was just me preparing, and all fall, I didn't get to throw to hitters at all. And I showed up spring day one just throwing to hitters, and 2 weeks later I was out of the bullpen first game. So I would say that was probably the most difficult challenge for me. And I just had to stay positive. I just knew that as long as I kept working hard every day, trying to recover, I knew I was going to get back on the field. So I just think that, as long as you're staying positive and I push myself hard, I think that's really what it came down to.
Is it scary when you go face a batter for the first time after dealing with an arm injury? Like, is there ever any doubt in your mind that, hey, hopefully I hit the catcher's mitt and not, 4 feet in front of you kind of thing?
There was a little bit for sure. I think I was a little nervous, but honestly, once I threw that first pitch, majority of the time I settle in. I still feel like to this day, there's a little bit of nerve that runs through me every time you get on the mound. I don't know. The one thing that I learned from my junior college coach was that, when you get nervous, that just shows that you care. So, I always tell myself that even if I'm going to be nervous out there, I'm going to be fine. And as soon as I throw the first pitch to the first hitter, my nerves settle, and then the pressure is just like, there's no pressure anymore. So I think that's kind of the fun thing there. Even though, that stints of 2 months recovery time, it was definitely scary. But, no, yeah, once I threw that first pitch, I knew I was good, and arm was feeling great. I worked for 2 months to get to where I needed to be, so.
I love that piece because I'm a big believer in that too. Is that the nerves are a good thing because it shows that you care. So that's fantastic. A couple more questions for you here, Reece, before I let you go. First off, when you're back home in Moose Jaw, or you get to see those kids who are going to be invariably watching a few games at the ballpark as you guys chase the national championship, and they want to get to where you're at now, what kinds of advice or pieces of wisdom do you like to impart upon them?
I think the biggest thing that I always like to tell guys, especially younger kids, is, it's baseball. This is a kid's game. We got to have fun. And I think that comes with training, too. Like, you put yourself around a group of people or even trainers that, they're not going to hound you, get down your throat, kind of be those guys. You need to surround yourself with people that are a lot of fun to be around. I think that's the biggest thing. I honestly think that has led to a lot of success with us is because our guys show up every day and they want to have fun. And that's a big part of it. So I think for young guys, it's just trying to have as much fun as you can with it and keeping it simple. I think that's another big thing. I think sometimes a lot of guys overthink things, and especially some of our younger guys on our staff, they overcomplicate things a lot of the time. Baseball is a simple game. We just got to throw the ball over the plate and we got to hit it. Now, I know it's a little more advanced than that, but sometimes we just got to dumb things down is what I tell a lot of younger guys. Just be dumb sometimes on the mound. You've been playing baseball for a lot of years. Let's just dumb things down. And I think that's a big thing for kids is that sometimes some guys really overcomplicate things, but we just got to keep things simple and easy kind of deal. And, at the end of the day, too, you got to work really hard. I mean, like I said, college baseball is a whole different grind than it is high school because you're dealing with classes, you're dealing with outside school stuff, and then you're showing up practicing and lifting every day. It's a whole different lifestyle, So you just got to – it might be hard at first, but once you get in rhythm and you get settled and all that stuff, it'll come easy. Because I know my first year at junior college, it was pretty tough on me just adapting to that new lifestyle. So, you just got to learn to give it time sometimes.
Absolutely. The final question we ask everybody here on the show, Reece, what does the game of baseball mean to you?
It means everything. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am without baseball, and I'm so grateful for it. There's been a lot of ups and downs, but there's not a second that goes by that I will not ever love baseball. And hopefully one day next year I'm going to go into a full-time coaching role here at MNU. So, I'm very grateful for that and still going to be a part of the game. So, it does mean everything to me, and I'm excited that I get to stay a part of it.
That is fantastic stuff. Well, Reece, congratulations on the record. Congratulations on all the success you've had to this point. Continued success at MNU and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we'll wrap things up this week by heading back to the CCBC to chat with another Saskatchewan product. Martin Academy alum and Regina's own Kam Sparrowhawk is among the league leaders in strikeouts with 31, compiling a 3-1 record and a 3.53 ERA and 5 stars for the defending champion, University of Fraser Valley. He joined that school after a rough first college season at Taft Community College. We talked about that and the opportunity to play closer to home with the Moose Jaw Miller Express this coming summer.
Kam, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
What a way to start the season with UFV. You're 3-1, a 3.53 ERA, and 5 starts. The numbers kind of speak for themselves, but I'm always curious, how are you feeling about things so far this season?
I mean, awesome. It's just, completely different. I was in Taft last year, and it just was a really bad experience. I was in my head all the time when I was pitching. I thought it was kind of it, and then I heard UFV had a really good pitching program, so I kind of took a gamble, tried it out, and it's been an awesome experience, and I've just learned a lot from our pitching coach, Kyle, and he's just given me the confidence I need to pitch for this team and help my team win.
When you look at it, what's been working for you? What's kind of been that unlock to allow you to hit the potential that you think you've got?
I would say just honestly just throwing strikes. Last year, I was really struggling with finding the zone, and I wasn't very successful. This year I've found my success from pounding the strike zone and having a good secondary pitch in my changeup. Changeup has definitely given me lots of successes here so far.
Awesome. Now the team's off to a great start as well. You're 15-5 as we record this. What's the vibe in the clubhouse right now?
Oh, it's awesome. I love going to war with these boys. Every day it's just awesome to battle with these guys and face the teams in the league, and even just in the winter too, like when you spend the winter months, the cold months, and in the yard working out, it's just an awesome grind to bond with the boys, and And now that we're in season, we're just like fully bonded. The culture's awesome, and we've been doing lots of winning, and we're gonna keep doing it.
As defending champions, did you all feel like you entered the season with a bit of a target on your back?
Oh, 100%. I mean, when we're going out against any team, they're going to give us our best. They're trying to take down the defending champs, right? So we got to go out there and play our best. So we're the standard in this league, so we have to show up every single game.
How have you been able to weather that storm? Because you know they're coming at you with their best every single night.
Just being prepared, honestly, like making sure we're taking care of our bodies between games and doing the right things to make sure we're prepared for each and every game, and it's been working so far.
On a personal standpoint, I mean, you're coming in at the same time as a guy like Josh Berenbaum graduates. Was there any pressure that you were feeling in terms of having to fill the void, or did you as a staff kind of say, you know what, we've got this, we can continue the legacy?
Oh, no pressure at all. I mean, we have a lot of studs in our pitching staff, and honestly, anyone can fill in that void. Kyle, he's an awesome pitching coach. He teaches all the pitchers a lot, and all of us have been really finding success this year.
It's always a crazy season, the CCBC, because it's hard to believe, but we're almost halfway done already, and all eyes are obviously on May long weekend. When you look at it, what needs to happen for UFV to become back-to-back champions?
Like I said, we just have to keep staying prepared, making sure we're hitting our lifts, like doing our mobility, doing all our drill work and everything, make sure we're prepared the whole year and keep our head down and continue to grind and just go out and dominate.
Looking at it, what would it mean to you personally to bring home the championship?
It'd be awesome, man. I'd love to get a ring with these boys and take home the trophy again. It'd be an honor. It'd be awesome.
Let's get in your baseball past here a little bit, Cam. You're originally from Regina, an area. How did you get into the game in the first place?
Honestly, I started watching baseball in 2015. Saw the Blue Jays playing, Donaldson, Bautista, all those guys, and I decided I want to start playing baseball. It looked fun, and ever since then I've been loving the game and trying to be the best I can be.
When you were growing up, were you a multi-sport kid, or were you all baseball all the time?
I was pretty much baseball, and once high school hit, I was all only baseball. Before that, I was playing soccer, hockey, stuff like that.
When did it turn for you when you were like, okay, this is a fun game and all, to, hey, maybe I can chase this at a higher level?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, compared to the other sports I played, baseball is probably my strongest, so I kind of decided I should probably put all my time and effort into baseball instead of these other sports. And yeah, I just love baseball, and I love throwing and lifting weights and just the culture of the ball game, watching ball. It's awesome.
Looking back on the young career to this point, any favorite memories or moments where you had to take that step back and go, man, oh man, I can't believe I get to do this?
Probably 2021, my high school ball team, the athletics, only won provincials, went 5-0 in provincials and won. It was an awesome experience.
Absolutely. You're an Martin Academy product, if memory serves. What did that program mean to you and your development, not just as a ball player, but a human being as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Martin, the coaches there, Chair Pushuk and Eisworth, they taught me lots on how to carry myself and do all the little things right and make sure I'm a very respectful person on the field and outside of baseball, and I'm doing all the right things. They definitely made me the person I am today.
On the flip side of that, we all know baseball is a game of failure. What's been the biggest challenge or the biggest hurdle you've had to overcome, and how proud are you of being able to do so?
Yeah, definitely last year at Taft, I was struggling really bad, and I didn't think I'd be able to get over it, and then I came over here to UFV and got to work, and looking back, it's just crazy how far I've come, and I mean, every single day, I'm so grateful to keep playing this game.
Looking back on it now, 2020 hindsight, I mean, in the moment, you're probably just trying to, I'll call it survive, but now that you've got a bit of hindsight behind you, can you pinpoint exactly what it was that was getting into your head? Was it just being away from home, or was it something, at the field? What was it that kind of led to that experience not being exactly what you're hoping for?
I mean, yeah, there's definitely a lot of factors, being away from home. I mean, the coaches weren't the greatest, so... and definitely the dugout culture too. Like, it's hard to play well for a team that you don't really get along with, or coaches you don't really get along with. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of factors, but I'm happy I'm no longer there.
For sure. Now you get to look forward a little bit too. Obviously, you got a CCBC championship in mind, and you've also got a summer of baseball coming up, as it looks like you're heading to Moose Jaw with Miller Express. How excited are you to get a little bit closer to home, even more so, and play some ball in the WCBL?
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I mean, these last few summers, I've definitely wanted to play a full summer in the WCBL, and I finally get that chance. Dustin Mulligan helped me out in getting my name out to the Miller Express, and I know they're hungry for a ring as well. So, I mean, playing a full summer chasing ring, it's going to be an awesome experience.
How cool is it to have a guy like Dustin in your back pocket, like a guy that's willing to go to bat for you, especially a guy who's got some MLB experience in his name as well?
Yeah, Dusty, he's an awesome dude. I mean, yeah, he'll always stick out his neck for you, and it's just awesome with all the connections he has. He definitely helps a lot of guys out in finding colleges, summer teams, and he helps out the Regina community, or just the SAS community in general, a lot. And I'm very appreciative towards him.
For sure. How looking forward are you to getting to play against the hometown team? I mean, you're a Regina kid. You know the rivalry between Moose Jaw and Regina. How excited are you circling dates on the calendar for some of those rivalries?
Oh yeah, those games are gonna be super fun. I mean, I'm from Regina, right? So like, it'll be awesome to play in Curry Field. I grew up playing there. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome playing the Red Sox, and it'll make for some awesome, fun games.
Fantastic. A few fun ones here before we let you go, Cam. When you're at the ballpark as a fan, what's your go-to food?
At the ballpark, I'm probably going to go and get a hot dog.
What kinds of toppings you got in mind?
Just your classic, like ketchup, mustard, maybe throw some onions every once in a while in there.
Fantastic. What's your walk-in tune? If you were the closer and you get to do the Jordan Romano or Mariano Rivera, do you got a tune in mind?
Yeah, my walk-up song this year is Last Saskatchewan Pirate.
Oh, so good. I like the nod to home as well. And finally, who's your baseball idol? The person who maybe you had a poster up on the wall or that kind of thing?
Oh, I've had lots. I mean, back in the day, Bautista. I mean, it's always been fun to watch Chapman throw gas, but yeah, I'd say maybe Chapman, or maybe even like Trevor Bauer too. He's fun to watch.
Absolutely, and he's developed his own repertoire on social media, which is fun to watch too. So,
yeah.
Awesome stuff, man. Two more before we let you go here. They're kind of standard across the board here. First off, when you're back home, you're talking to kids at Martin, or maybe you're going to be back in Moose Jaw and chatting with those youngsters who are looking to get to where you're at now. What kinds of advice would you love to impart upon them? What do you want them to take away from what you've learned along your journey?
Man, I would definitely tell them to just grind, man. Like, stay to it. If you really love the sport and you want to go far, like, don't stop. Like, I've seen it so many times where people, like, they face failure and they don't know how to react, so they just quit. But you just gotta keep pushing, man. Like, keep grinding, do all the right things. If you really love the sport, and you will go far.
Well, and you've gone pretty far yourself already, and looking forward to what's next. Final question for you, Cam. It's one we ask everybody. What does a game of baseball mean to you?
Oh man, just like to kind of like round it out, like the movie like Moneyball, like when Brad Pitt's character Billy Bean, he's like, how can you not be romantic about baseball, right? Like, how can you not be romantic about baseball? You go to the ballpark, you smell those smells, you hear those sounds, crack of the bat, the glove popping from the pitch. I mean, baseball is amazing. It's made me who I am, and I don't know where I'd be without it.
Baseball is amazing, and it's been amazing getting to know a little bit about your journey as well, Cam. Congratulations on all the success you've had at this point. Continued success at UFV, Moose Jaw, and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor.
Thanks again to Jaden Babiuk, Reece Helland, and Kam Sparrowhawk for joining us this week, and thanks to all of you for downloading and listening. If you like this or any other episode, make sure to leave us a rating and review on your app, and if you have a guest idea for us, drop us a line at albertadugoutstories@gmail.com. A tip of the cap, as always, to our Platinum supporters for all they do for us and for baseball in our province. The Okotoks Dogs, Western Canadian Baseball League, and Under the Lights Sports and Entertainment have been instrumental in helping us cover costs like web hosting fees and online newspaper subscriptions. For more on our tremendous teammates or to get involved as a sponsor yourself, head to albertadugoutstories.com/supporters. Until next time, thank you for all of your support online, on social, and on air of Alberta Dugout Stories.